I have been knocking on doors, talking to people, going to events, just doing everything under the sun, trying to get to people. And it's been exciting and fun and all of that. But
it has to be exhausting.
It is exhausting, but I don't know if it's mentally exhausting or body exhausting, because I'm still looking at my body and saying, I could still lose another couple of pounds. So I need to walk a little bit faster, a little bit, do more steps.
What I think? I think, like, I know the thing is about losing weight and all that kind of stuff. I have to finally come to the conclusion at 42, if another pound ain't lost, if a wrinkle creeps on the come up, like Bone Thugs and Harmony, 1994 to 1997, it is what it is. And
absolutely,
what's so threatening to others, even though people don't want to admit it, is when you're different and you love it.
Because you know what? I love being different, and I've been different all my life. And my daughter's father used to have crazy little nicknames for me because I was always so different. And even in high school, I was doing what everybody was doing, but I always had my little flair to it. And I enjoy that. And that is who I am. And it's funny because I was out campaigning a couple of days ago, and I ran into a high school classmate who doesn't live in the town anymore. And I guess he was just visiting his mom. And I tooted the horn, and he rolled down the window. He said, "Look at you, Miss about to be in the state house all over the place. I see you. I see you." I said, "I see you too." So it's exciting when people are excited about change and excited about doing stuff, and especially people that know you, so they know you're not coming from the BS and all of that. But enough from me, Queen. This is about you, Miss Precious L. Williams, the master pitch person. Honey, give it to me. So, Miss Williams, I found you on another social media site, and then somebody else literally within days was saying, "Oh, she's going to be speaking at my event," and sent me the link. Totally two different areas, didn't even know. I said, see, that's divine intervention. See, God knows how to put things in place when necessary. So, Miss Williams, I know that you are a graduate of Spelman. I did not go to Spelman. I graduated from Bloomfield College here in New Jersey, but my husband is a Morehouse man. Okay. All right. All the way.
Just like I didn't say, because I don't have a Morehouse man. So I got
deep into his soul. He is a Morehouse Kappa man. I must say that. So tell me, how did you get started? Because you didn't start where you're at right now. You started as an attorney, which nobody really knows that. So tell me, how did you get where you're at from there, from Spelman, to where you're at now? Tell me about some of your stuff.
I love the fact that you didn't take it all the way back to childhood. You want to talk from Spelman. It's so funny. When I got into Spelman College in 1997, ooh, that's like 24 years ago.
Look, you good, girl. You said you're about to be how old? I'm sorry.
I'm 42. Like no cap. Like
so you look good because black don't crack. And my baby just turned 28 today, and yes, baby girl, she 28, and I'll be 50 in September. So
when they be talking about that good black don't be cracking, they just
black don't crack, baby girl.
When I tell you, so I got into Spelman in 1997, right? I had a full scholarship. Went off to Spelman. I came from the inner city of St. Louis, Missouri. I was always told, I wasn't going to get into Spelman. So the fact that I did get in, the fact that I did get a full scholarship was so shocking to people. And, they scared my grandparents. Oh, she'll be back. Oh, she can't hang with the girls. They've been all over the world. They rich, they this. Now, I ain't gonna lie and tell you, I wasn't a little scared, but there was another part of me that was like, bring it. And when I got there, it was such a wonderful experience. It was all these wonderful women. First of all, I didn't know that there were black wealthy people. I know you're thinking it sounds silly. No, I didn't know that. Yes, I understand celebrities.
But what you saw on TV.
Yeah, but it's different from meeting people whose parents were in business or had the highest degrees possible, were professors, lawyers, doctors. I had never experienced that in real life. And the wonderful thing about Spelman is no one ever made me feel less than. Ever. Like, I used to walk down the streets and I got like 12 to 15 hugs a day. Like, I just saw this chick. What's good, homie? And it was so wonderful. And so in my first year, I was just trying to survive because I'm like, listen, I ain't trying to go home. I ain't going back. And I went to my English teacher, Dr. Stephen Nadler, and I told him the truth. I said, I didn't have a And I'm embarrassed. He was like, I got you. He said, you're more talented than you know. And he worked with me all throughout. And would you know I was an English major?
Wow.
You know,
But you know what's beautiful about that is, and that's a great testimony, because a lot of college students don't go prepared as they think they should be or are. And high schools don't really prepare you for being in that atmosphere. So I totally get it. When I started off at Bloomfield, at Virginia State University. That was when I started. And it was just overwhelming for me. It was overwhelming. So I get it when you have to come forward and be brave enough to say that I need help.
Definitely. And he, Dr. Stephen Naylor, I tell you to this day, that man helped me down. And also the other English professors. He got me, you know what? He got me so good that I took challenges in being an English major. I took the hardest professors because I wanted to prove to myself I can do it. Like people told me I was the smartest of the dumb. And I wasn't. I really am that good at what I do, right? So at the end of the day, I was already a speaker. I started speaking professionally at 16 years old when I was in St. Louis, Missouri. So I continued that while I was at Spelman College. I knew I wanted to be an attorney. And so I used to watch Perry Mason, LA Law, like Law and Order used to be my thing. I used to be like, oh, I'm about to do that.
Yes.
Opening, closing. I'm about to go hard in the paint. I want to be better than Johnny Cochran. If the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit. I was like, oh, what's mine?
All of that.
What's mine gonna be, right? And I got a full scholarship to Georgetown University Law Center.
Wonderful. Get it, girl.
Yes. March 15, 2002. Yes, started August 25th, 2001, same day that Aaliyah died. Moved in, and I felt so uncomfortable. And the thing is, when I look back, if I could only tell myself this one thing, I was embarrassed because I didn't come from a family that were diplomats, senators, politicians, big time people. And I felt like that marked me as less than, right? Okay. And I look back 20 years later, if I could have told myself, even with everything they had, you were right there with them. What does that say? Right. My frame of reference was so wrong, right?
Right.
So anyway, I got kicked out on March 15, 2002, started, and just was depressed. My mentor sent me over to Rutgers School of Law that was in Newark, New Jersey. And they offered me a full scholarship. I'm like, I know I just got kicked out of law school and walked into another full scholarship.
Divine intervention.
Better believe it. So I started at Rutgers in fall 2003, had a nervous breakdown April 12, 2004, spent 3 months in a psych ward. Girl, when I tell you, it was crazy. And, but again, when I came out of the psych ward and I was in therapy, they said, take it one moment at a time, not one day, not 1 hour, not one, no. And before I knew it, I was in my last semester. And I wanted to challenge myself. So I went into the Urban Legal Clinic and became the #1 student attorney. I killed it in the courtroom. Like, it was like theatrical. It was wonderful for me. And I used to love seeing the prosecutors. I was like, yeah, I'm about to slay right now. I'm about to kill you. I'm about to slaughter. I'm about to go hard. So I finished on December 15, 2006 to the February 2007 bar, passed May 4th, 2007, and graduated on May 25th, 2007. So I walked in knowing I'd already passed the bar. Moved to New York, worked at Sullivan and Cromwell, clerked for federal judge in the Southern District, did medical malpractice, products liability, toxic torts, boring, hated it. I was like, man, if I got to do this for 40 years, it's not going to work. It's just not, I can't do boring. I can't do rote. What do people say? Especially our people will say, stable career, somebody pay for you to go to school. And I was like, I hear that, but internally I was like, nah, I ain't trying to hear that though.
Yeah, it's killing you. Yeah.
It was killing it. And so I had a 7-year relationship that abruptly ended at my behest. And somehow I started dating this very famous Hollywood actor. Oh, and by the way, I was 327 pounds.
You had a lot going on.
Yeah, my story doesn't make sense on paper. Like, I think people, when they hear, they're like, it makes no kind of sense, right? Because it was 327 pounds.
You're like a book waiting to happen.
Girl, what? I'm like
just
Bravo.
saying.
I feel like Bravo. Watch what happens. What's
That's
happening?
right.
I feel like, okay, watch this. Because my story is so incredible. So, no one would invest. No family and friends would invest. Of course, they didn't. They actually just never understand me. So to them, it was like, No, like just being an attorney. And it wasn't until I did my first pitch at an event I could not afford that I kind of stepped into being the killer pitch master. So my first pitch got me on MSNBC's Your Business with JJ Ramberg. My second pitch on camera got me $500,000. And then, and I had negative $400 in my bank account. Can we keep it a buck? I was broke.
So tell me, what did you pitch about? How did you decide that you
My first company was Curvy Girls Lingerie.
What did you pitch about for the first one?
It was Curvy Girls. Mm-hmm. It was Curvy Girls that I pitched about, right? My company was Curvy Girls Lingerie. Mm-hmm. And it was hard to start. Remember, I don't draw, I don't design, I don't anything, but my relationship inspired me to see myself differently. So even though 2 other people, I was 327 pounds, fat, ugly, and all kind of stuff, this man would hold my hand in public and have me on sets. I was like this, oh, okay. That's how we're going to do it. Okay. And I wanted other women to feel like that. And, when we were going to be intimate, I wanted to make sure, listen, I'm tight. I'm G'd up. I don't want to be wearing muumuus. I want to be G'd up. And so I couldn't find it. And I wanted other women to experience what I was experiencing. And this society will make you feel like if you have a little bit more meat on your bones, you're invisible. And I'm like, the hell, I'm not. Look.
That's right. That's right.
And so I wanted other women to feel that way. But, I feel like what Joel Osteen says, in the natural, it still didn't make sense to people because they didn't think that these women mattered. And so when I pitched to these producers at MSNBC, I used the words full-figure divas and plus-size fashionistas, and I called myself the female MacGyver of business. They were just like,
exactly, like
they're like bars. They're like
go
bars.
Together. Uh-huh.
And then they were just like, and then they told me once I, got the investment, they were like, you need to enter pitch competitions because the way you pitch is so different, because back in the day, people were very boring. Hey, this is what I do. My name is and I came in with pop flavor. I'm coming. Right. I'm coming flavor. And out of 14 competitions, I became a 13-time champion. Right. And so when people would see me on these stages, especially when I won the Black Enterprise National Elevator Pitch Competition on May 16, 2013, I mean, people were like, you got to teach me, And, you can only say no so long. We like, shoot, I'm leaving money on the table. So I took on 10 beta clients and they all won their competitions.
Nice.
That's how Perfect Pitches by Precious got started. And the rest is really history. My clients were on Shark Tank. They were in media. They were getting investments. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was shocked. When I started, it was just to prepare people for competitions. And I literally went from being a speaker to the killer pitch master to an international professional speaker to a media personality to a corporate trainer for some of the biggest companies in the world, the LinkedIn's, the Googles, the Microsofts, the Federal Reserve Bank, Intuit QuickBooks, NBC Universal. Mind you, do you see how I look? I'm still Black on both sides. There's nothing light skinned about me, no green eyes, no BBL, Brazilian butt lift. Okay, nothing. Like I'm and I'm still shocked. And then I became a 3-time #1 best-selling author of the Bad Bitches and Power Pitches for Women Entrepreneurs and Speakers Only series. And so the story is incredible. It's incredible because it makes no sense in real life, but it happened literally just like that.
So you mentioned something. You mentioned family and friends weren't supportive.
Nope.
What do you think? What was the disconnect between your dreams and where they were in their place in life?
Well, because I'm from the inner city of St. Louis, Missouri, when you do see Black people who are successful, they're usually in sports and entertainment. They're not necessarily in business. Second thing is most people in the inner city don't have money to contribute. So those whole family and friends round doesn't really happen, because you don't have it. My friends were all working, so they had that corporate mentality. I'm not shading. Right. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, if you're used to a certain paradigm, if you're used to a certain structure, someone who wants to step out of the structure, even though you know them and you love them, you don't think that it's possible, right? Remember, I wasn't backed by Oprah's or anything like that. And when I had this big dream of saying, I'm going to do it on television, that made no sense. This is 10, 11 years ago, before Lizzo, before Ashley Graham was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. What big girl did you see on television? Right. Other than Oprah, and last time I checked, me and Oprah are not the same age.
Oprah and Monique, that was right. It. And they were in
their entertainment and media and that sort of thing. I'm just Precious, and I was doing it in business. That's the difference. And so they couldn't quite see it, but thank God that God gave me the vision, and He doesn't need a co-signer. So you can ask everybody to believe in you, which I think is whack, because they're not, that's not the vision they were given. And this is my God-given purpose. My God-given purpose is to keep pushing and breaking down doors so that the women behind me have it easier. I want to show women especially how to write your own paycheck. Even if you have a job, you're an executive, you're doing this, that, the other. What side hustle can you be doing to write your own paycheck? Right? Like, I'm not built for corporate America to be an employee. I'm not built for that, but I am built to show you what the possibilities are, even while you're there. If you want to do better presentations, if you want the big wigs at your company to truly see you, I'm gonna show you how to be visible. I'm gonna show you how to create great content. I'm gonna show you how to speak to them in a certain way where they have to give deference and respect to you. Put some respect on that name. If you're a speaker, how many of us, back in the day were always asked to speak for free? No, ma'am. I'll show you how to be booked, busy, and paid. That's in speaker pitching, right? I didn't just walk into the LinkedIn's and the Googles and the Microsofts. I had to create the right content that attracted them. I had to have the right network that was made up of diverse individuals, because sometimes when you're only in certain networks, if you're too powerful or your light shines too bright, they won't put you forward. So you have to be in different networks where you're almost like, wow, we don't have anyone like you. We need to push that forward because it makes us all look good. Right? And so knowing how to move through a room full of vultures, like Jay-Z said, move through a room full of vultures and keep it moving. And also, what if you're interviewing for a job and what can you say to really impress upon them that you are the person for the position? I don't know how many networking events I'm tired of hearing people just say the same pitches and they're boring and they're played. I could never refer you because I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. And so that's why I specialize in pitching in all forms, from sales to network, elevator, media, investor, speaker, interview, because I've had success in all of them, as well as my clients. My clients aren't just being on Shark Tank, I just woke up one day and I was on Shark Tank. No, there's a process that I take people through. And if your foundation isn't good, I don't care how good, listen, I played the game. I'm a great speaker. But if the foundation ain't right, it's going to come out in the wash. It's going to come out in them numbers. And that's why I always tell people that talk a good game, I'll be like, what them numbers at?
So what do you find is the biggest challenge for people? Is it getting out of their own way?
I think there's several big challenges. Number one is confidence. Number one is confidence, because even though you may have had a great title or you're moving towards something, it's scary to step out on your own. And I think we need to be honest that a lot of us who stepped out on our own weren't supported. And we only receive supports when we're in places.
When we get to that position, right?
Right. And so think about this. I believe it's in the Bible. So Jesus wasn't recognized in his own place until he was recognized somewhere else. So that's what had to happen for me, right? I had to go somewhere else and be recognized for people to take me seriously. Right. So before that, if I didn't have success, if I wasn't on television, it was like, oh, she booty, she ain't nobody. Okay. When I walk down the street, do people notice I have multiple degrees? I have terminal degrees, that, I'm a 13-time national champion. I've been on Shark Tank, CNN and all that. You can't see that. You may think, oh, maybe she has a baby daddy. I don't have that. I don't have any kids. I can't have a baby daddy if I ain't got no kids. So anyway, long story short, I think it's confidence. Number two, also, a lot of times we're in our own way because we're hearing what everyone else is saying around us, possibly for us, right? So I grew up knowing I wasn't wanted by my mother and my father. That has led to a lifelong struggle with identity. And it's only in my 40s that I fully embrace who I am. And so am I bright and colorful? Yes. Am I in your face? Yeah. Am I assertive? Yeah. Am I bold? Yeah. Years ago, that wasn't accepted. And in some ways, it may not be accepted by certain people who are like, oh, you need to be in your place. No, my place is in front. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Another thing is, it's very hard to push forth an idea that other people don't see. And even though you're listening to these big time people that you love, what gets lost in it is you think they always had support and they didn't. And number four, how do you truly communicate what you do, or the product or service or book or brand that you are putting forward has enough value that other people will want it? How do you articulate that in a way that's exciting? And people look at my personality like, oh, that's why she sells. I'm like, how many big time personalities? It's not my personality. I know my stuff. You know what I mean? I know my stuff, right? And so I've done the research and things like that. A lot of times people will listen to the gurus and they get the motivation. That's great.
Yeah.
You got to take action.
Yeah.
And then you don't have a foundation to take action. So again, you're in trouble. So I want to talk about the foundation of pitching and how you use it every day anyway. But when you add strategy, cunning, and precision to it, listen, we came to slay, not play.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So why women? Why is it important for women to be able to present themselves to the world?
I think it's important more for women, more so than men. And I'll just give you an analogy. You can be the prettiest woman in the world. The raggediest dude is still going to be trying to holler because they're waiting for that moment that you may have a self-esteem moment, because they know what happens to every woman. Like, I may catch her moment when she ain't paying attention. But for women, oftentimes we will lack the confidence. It doesn't matter how beautiful you are, six-pack ass, BBL, big boobs, all a lot of us still lack the confidence that men don't care what station they at in, like they going hard. They get rejected. They're like, all right, I'll come back again. Women be like, oh,
that is so true.
They'd be like, oh, I remember I tried to step to a man on the subway. He was looking real good. I was trying to work my way up. Trying to work my way up. He was looking good. I was like, I ain't never done this before. And I walked up to him. I said, hello, sir. I think you look really, I felt so stupid. I said, man, and he told me he had somebody. And, I had to.
You had to step back a minute. I was like, ooh.
He's like, well, thank you. I was like, well, thank you very much. I felt like that was really, thank you very much. Like,
you have a good day.
and you know what? But then as I sat there, because I had to, I had to leave the vicinity. I couldn't just stay around and be rejected. I had to go to the vicinity.
You had to bounce.
And then I had to think to myself, I said, wow, I did something I never thought I could. I've been dating people who wanted to date me. I've never really sat and said, who do I want to date? So that was my first foray to testing it, right? I haven't done it again. Let's be clear. I haven't done it again. But women have a problem with confidence. So it doesn't matter what clothes they have on, how beautiful they are. I wanted to focus on the confidence aspect with most women. And also when I wrote my first book, Bad Bitches and Power Pitches, the reason why I also wrote it for women is because when we talk about pitching, it's usually talk from a masculine perspective. And I want to share with them the 7 branding bitches that I've encountered. Some women lead with the unstoppableness. Some women lead with power. Some women lead with creativity. Some women have an air of mystery. Some women lead with numbers. Some women are deeply flawed. And all of those can help you, right? So people usually think I lead with power. And I'm like, no, I'm unstoppable and I'm deeply flawed. Just like everybody else, I'm deeply flawed. But I use that to propel myself forward, whereas most people hold themselves back. So I've messed up multiple times. I have squandered big opportunities. I've done horrible things on my way to success. And yet the reason why I'm here is because I didn't give up. That's why you call me unstoppable. Because no matter what's happened, homelessness, abuse, abandonment, almost beaten to death, suicide, serious alcohol, like severe alcohol addiction, homelessness, I went through it all. And yet here I am. So if nothing else you can take from it, anything that most people have gone through, I've gone through it. And I'm on the other side of it now. I'm not in the throes. I'm on the other side. So I'm unstoppable and I'm flawed. And I use both of those to propel me forward, whereas most people use those to hold them back.
And we started off with the conversation before I went live, and we talked about people try to be perfect. Right. And there is no perfection out there. You can't have the perfect body or the perfect attitude or the perfect inside and outside. It just doesn't happen like that. God doesn't make you like that to be perfect. Everybody is imperfect in many different ways. And I think sometimes we pay too much attention to our flaws and not enough attention to our strengths.
Say it again, the peeps in the back.
Boo, boo, boo. So I think sometimes, and like you said, one of the other things, we have to get out of our own head and stop worrying about the chatter that's going on around us, because that really doesn't matter. Because when you go to sleep and when you wake up and when it's time to pay bills and do all these other things, the people ain't around. They ain't writing checks. They ain't depositing no money in your account. So why are you so concerned? And sometimes I have to have that self-talk with myself. Like it doesn't matter. Like, why do I care what they think? I'm good with it. I'm good with me.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, what you're saying is so true. People think that once you hit a certain level, you don't deal with those sort of things. And I'm like, you do. Especially, can we get into it? Sneak dissing, or people who want to cap it. Oh, you capping now. Oh, yeah. Sneak diss. And when somebody's trying to come, I'm like, oh, okay. So I ain't gonna play social media games with nobody. I'm just not. But when I flex on you, I'm coming with receipts. What you got?
Right.
Yeah. Those
Absolutely.
awards you see, those are mine.
Mm-hmm.
That network you see me with, you saw me in Vermont. Were you in Vermont? Oh, because you might not know nobody in Vermont. Okay. Those book sales you saw, when you see me at the post office, that's not me just sending somebody. That's me at the post office. Or when my clients are on Shark Tank, those are my clients. When I tell you I'm about to do it big, I'm not playing.
So tell me, how do people find you so that they can get help from you, whether it's for a pitch for a business, whether they're doing it at a competition, or whether they're just doing it for self-esteem within their industry so they can get their point across to get that promotion?
Girl, say it again for the peeps in the back. So again, everybody, I'm Precious Williams. I'm the proud founder and CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious. My website is www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. If you go to my website, you go to the Work With Me page, you'll see that I offer one-on-one coaching. You see that I offer group coaching. I also have a 2-hour laser focused coaching session with me, just so you can get a little taste of what I'm capable of. My books are all on there. In fact, my 3rd book is Pitching for Profit, the Bad Bitches Playbook to Convert Conversations into Currency. That's there. My other 2 books, Bad Bitches Empowered Pitches for Women Entrepreneurs and Speakers Only, is there. If you want to book me as a speaker for your company, your organization, your foundation or nonprofit, you can also find that there. I also have a free quiz at pitchingforprofit.com. Again, that's pitchingforprofit.com. It's a free 6-question quiz. If you take it and submit your answers, you'll get a free customized report, which will help you begin to start creating your own pitch for you, for your brand, your book, your business, your product or service. Also on LinkedIn, I am Precious L. Williams, Killer Pitch Faster. On Twitter, I am at Perfect Pitch P. On Facebook, I'm at Perfect Pitch P. And on Instagram, I'm at Perfect Pitches P. On YouTube, you can find me under Perfect Pitches by Precious. And I do a live show on LinkedIn every Sunday called Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitch Master.
I love
Those
it.
are ways
I
you
love
can find me.
it. I love it. So tell me, when you're not pitching, when you're not working, what are you doing in your downtime? What do you love to do?
Girl, listen, your girl like that fine dining, girl. In fact, last night I had blackened sea bass. I had this white truffle pizza, and I had this. What was that? Oh, I had a tuna tartare with the avocado. I took my girl out. I was like, we were celebrating because LinkedIn has been good to me. You heard? And so it's just giving me so many great opportunities to be a trainer. I love checking out new restaurants. I love writing poetry. I love this laughing. I love just keep being. You know what I also love? I love watching makeup tutorials, but my favorites are the makeup declutters.
Really?
I don't know what it is.
I think I just started to see that.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Girl, and also on YouTube, let me tell you my favorites. I like watching this channel called Eater, and I love reading about Michelin-starred restaurants. And for some reason, like, I don't know why I didn't know that before, but just like those are the best restaurants in the world. So I love learning about these new restaurants and also learning about foods I'd never heard of, right? So I have a world-class palate. I can eat from all over the world, but just watching stuff like that, or MASH, MASH, I think it's called MASH. And it's just about all these great culinary treats from all over the world. Like, I love watching Andrew Zimmern on Bizarre Food, Delicious Destinations. I love art. I love going to art galleries. Although my favorite museum in the whole wide world is the Museum of Natural History in New York City.
Really?
I don't know if I like watching it. I don't know what it is about it. I just love it. Like, from walking in and looking at the big dinosaur and seeing the reliefs on the wall, and then going to Egypt and going all these places around the world. Like, I love it. And I think it's because growing up in St. Louis, I did not know what was possible. And so now that I've lived all over the world, I've shot movies, I've been in commercials, I've been, I'm an international professional speaker, just knowing that the world was so much bigger than what I ever thought, and just being a part of it because of what I get to do for a living every day.
What's your favorite part of the country?
I have to say, I'm having a love affair with New York, but I love living in Atlanta. I love living in Atlanta. I love living in Santa Monica, California, and filming in the hills of Malibu. My favorite country right now is probably, I love Milan, Italy. I shot a movie.
Really? Nice.
And,
did you do a lot of shopping while you were over there? I know the food.
Girl, I ain't gonna lie, girl, I ain't got that kind. I ain't had that kind of corporate. I ain't had that kind of corporate.
The shopping and the food, girl, the wine. Now, are you a wine girl?
Well, girl, I'm 4 years clean, so 4 years plus.
Okay, so you don't want to do that.
But I will say this, the food would, girl, I had the nerve
Food was
to make
good.
you laugh. So this woman was taking me around Milan. Like after we would film shooting for the day, she would take me places to eat. So I remember we were, I don't know if you call it a canal or whatever. I was like, yo, they have fettuccine Alfredo? She said, that's American.
Exactly.
She said, even the pieces y'all have ain't even right.
Uh-uh.
She had me going to all these restaurants and the service was impeccable.
Yeah.
And so the food was good. You know, my apartment, like I had gelato from real, like not even, which is good. When you have it there, you'd be like, I was actually one of the people I was with was they call him the Tony Robbins of Italy. And so when I went into his home, I was like, Jigga, who?
Hello.
Jigga, what? And he was just like, oh, is this how we live? Just like when I was shooting in this glass mansion in Malibu, I remember just being like, okay, it's one thing when you see it on TV because you're like, those homes are real. Like, and so I could be over here, right? They can't hear me over there in another wing. They can't hear me. But I can get on that intercom though. Oh, those elevators, the
in the house.
You know, you're thinking, oh, I'm thinking I've seen pools. Oh no, I haven't. No, I have never even been that high up to look at mountains, right? We went, this is so cool. So when we were filming, we went into the desert. So they rented us a Winnebago. We rode out to the desert. I've never camped in life.
Really?
And we slept under the Joshua trees.
Wow.
So black girl, had never seen some of the things, and they were showing me, this is your life now. Like, you know, you think you're doing it big because you're in New York, baby. New York, that's cosmopolitan. But we're going to show you a different side of life. And so that's when I realized what we see on television versus what we see around us, there's still a disconnect into how people really live, right? When people are eating caviar and watching Tiger Woods play golf and they're quiet as
all the time, every day.
So as I'm eating fried chicken and thinking I'm popping, they're like, I'm sorry, I don't, this is unacceptable. Like I asked for a particular. So it's been able to see the best of 3 or 4 worlds all at the same time.
Well, what would you tell your younger self about where you're at now and traveling and self-esteem and all of that? What would you encourage your younger self to do?
First, I would tell my younger self to really treasure my grandparents, to squeeze my grandmother and squeeze her every day, to squeeze my grandfather every day and say thank you. Because even though my grandmother had an 8th grade education, my grandfather had some high school education, their dreams for me as a golden child really played out. I would tell the younger Precious that just because you're not wanted now doesn't mean that's going to be forever. And that you'll grow into your looks. And that the haters that hated on you before will be believers later. And that when you step into your real purpose, as the great Ty Goodwin always says, when you step into your purpose, another woman can step into hers. And that, you know, we say things like dream big all the time, but no matter how big you dream, God has a bigger dream for you. As big as that mansion, you may want that penthouse, he's probably got a whole island for you. And that keep going, and you encounter some hard battles, but you'll see your way through it. He'll make a way for you to get through it, and then you'll be able to tell people on the other side that there is nothing really impossible or out of reach. And also, when I was going through homelessness, and this is something I couldn't see when I was young, when I went through homelessness 4 or 5 years ago, and I thought it was over, all those big time people that I used to hang with, take all those pictures with, when those doors shut, that's when you're gonna realize how good God is. And that's why, you know, when I was writing my first book, I wanted to talk about creativity, because sometimes it's not a money issue. It's how creative can you be? And so when those doors shut, where else could I go? What other networks could I find myself in? And if I didn't have the money, what did I have to get through that door? And by hook or by crook, by cunning, strategy, and precision, that's how you'll make it.
How did you find yourself falling back from where you were, landing in being homeless, and being able to inspire yourself to pull yourself out? Because that's a lot to be able to, because it's an internal thing as well as an external thing. So it's believing in yourself, believing in a higher power. How were you able to? Because there are people right now, even during COVID, that are trying to pull themselves out of where they're at, and they're just like, how do I do this? Like, is there a light at the end of the tunnel?
Yes, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And that's why I love this quote. How do you win an unwinnable situation? You rewrite the rules. So just like when people told me I was too fat, too black, and didn't have an Ivy League degree, they meant that as a smack in the face. I took that as a challenge. Oh, word. That's what I need.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I need to be thin to make it? Ooh. No, I don't think so. When I was in a Bowery Mission Women's Center, which is a Christ-centered life transformation program, great program, getting to know God, not working, and, just building a community with the women that I was there with. I learned how to cook, clean, and all that kind of stuff. So I actually learned how to take care of myself for the first time. What? But one of the things that was stressed to me is I've already had the big life. It's time to just get a high paying job. And it just never sat right with my soul. Just never sat right. And I used to look out the window sometimes, and I always lived in the best rooms, walk-in closets, all kinds of stuff, right? But even as I looked around, I just knew God was preparing me for something else. And even though in the natural to other people, I messed up so bad, there's no way I could get back.
Mm-hmm.
Deep down, I was just like, I got to prove once and for all, I'm the GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the GOAT. I'm gonna get it. And so when I walked out of the Bowery Mission, I had no idea that the pastor of the church we attended would ask me to come live in their home, this big, beautiful home in Brooklyn on a tree-lined street where it's quiet all the time, unless there's landscaping.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've never had landscaping before, so I didn't even know what that was like. Okay, so anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so being in this neighborhood and being with the pastor and his wife, who looked nothing like me, and trusting that I was in the right environments, finally allowed the mask to come off and to say that there is opportunities. And so one day, pastor was speaking to me. He said, he was like, you're not living up to your potential.
You like, excuse me? What you mean? Mm-hmm.
He said, I've seen you on stage. He said, you can move people.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost feel like this is before that, where the money reside,
Where the money reside.
I feel like he was really, pastor's like 6'4", white, whatever. He was just like, yo, I'm gonna need you to step your game up. I'm gonna need you to step your game up. And I was just like this. Ooh, pastor, step my game up. We go ham and cheese, peanut butter and jelly. And before I knew it, girl, especially last year with the pandemic and I'm downturn social unrest, I said, I'm gonna turn it up now. So you know how people were saying, don't ask for sales, don't do, like just sit back, girl. I got indignant. I was like, all that. Like, I've been homeless by myself. The world is now experiencing something. I done been through this before. So I'm about to go hard. So I got more visible. I started getting real specific in my ask. I always made the big ask. When I came across people who I knew who could change my life, I seized every opportunity to go hard. I never let an opportunity, I never dialed it in. I went hard. And so the more people that I was introduced to, because they saw something different in my life, they saw different in how I moved. And so they started introducing me. I never realized that speaking of one nonprofit would get me into Viacom. Viacom would get me into InStyle magazine. InStyle would get me into Saturday Night Live. Do you see? These are companies that didn't even want to look at me before the first time. Do you know what I'm saying? All this stuff just started happening, and it was like they were introducing me little bit by little bit to other organizations that you don't see on social media.
Right.
Being in situations where no pictures, no Northwest, no pictures.
Right.
And just getting into these environments where it's not because I'm Black, it's because I have a talent they have never seen utilizing someone like me, and so they just kept pushing me forward, and then I got to meet people who I don't worry about gatekeepers anymore. I got you now, right? Knowing how to get in people's inboxes, but not getting the same tried and true. Oh, I'm gonna come hard. I got receipts, and just doing things differently allowed me from the year before. Remember, I walked out on homelessness September 1st, 2018. 2019, I was creeping on the come up. 2020, I tripled what I made in 2019. What?
Wow.
That's in a pandemic and economic downturn and social unrest. So when people said, give it up, I'm not giving nothing up. Yeah, you concede, I will not. And so just going harder and just remembering that God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. So even though I don't have an Ivy League degree, why did I speak at Harvard University last Monday? Riddle me that. I don't have an Ivy League degree still. I did get kicked out of Georgetown. And I remember when the dean had such fun telling me how ridiculous I was. I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Now realizing that 20 years later, I'd be like, oh, okay, remember those words you said?
Isn't it always good back to tell people so they can,
I ain't got to go
their
back.
words? Yeah.
They see. You know what? There's a meme in my computer that says, hustle so hard that you don't even have to introduce yourself anymore. I wish I ain't even gonna have to go back.
That's a good one. I like that. Hustle so hard so you don't even have to introduce yourself no more.
No, I hustle hard. And another thing is, I will always tell women especially, you ask so much in the beginning. You ask so much, you don't have to ask as much later. You probably wonder, how do I get booked? I'm asking. They're in my inbox now. Think about that.
Yeah.
So if I shrunk back, I would have been like everybody else. And just like you, Diane, I'm not average, random, or ordinary. So why am I acting like it? Average people discuss silly things. I'm trying to discuss. True. I'm not even just discussing where the money resides. I want to discuss where is it going to reside. Right. That's where we're moving. Right. As a visionary, as a trailblazer, I'm supposed to get beat up and cut up and sliced up. So the next people who come behind me have it easier.
Absolutely.
Don't think it came easily. I don't care what you think of my personality. I don't care what you think of my skill set and my talent. All of that, as great as it is, I couldn't do it alone. So I had to have a diverse network who reached out. And that's why in this book, Pitching for Profit, The Bad Bitches Playbook to Convert Conversations into Currency, it's a different book. It's a different book than my first two. So we're converting conversations into currency. Did you notice it didn't say coins? It didn't say cash.
Currency, that's right.
So if you have the right relationships, you'll be like NBA Youngboy. Never broke again. One phone. It's like there's a guy in Atlanta. I think he is an attorney. One call. That's all. So while people are struggling to, I need to put this application. Girl, I have people who be like, "Hey, Queen. Hey, Precious. I was just at this event. Yo, they looking for a particular speaker in this. Can I? Don't ask me. Submit. Don't even ask me. Submit. And they're like, Precious. They just went on your LinkedIn. It's a done deal. Do you see? I didn't do nothing. Yeah. I did nothing. They just know how to do that, right? So there's a conference coming up called Profit Con. You ever heard Profit First? You ever heard the book Profit First? Paying yourself first. You ever heard that?
Yes.
Okay. So I know.
Yes, that's the belief in my household that I grew up with. Yes, always pay yourself first.
Right. So the guy who wrote it, his sister went to him and said, yes, so you need a little flavor at your conferences. You need a little spice it up. You need a little sprinkling or something. And she was like, yeah. So basically, you have the same people all the time. He said, you need a little something else. And he was like, what you mean? She was like, you need Precious. And he was like, Precious. So she showed my LinkedIn and my website. I think he was like, she said, that's flavor.
Yeah,
and I had to laugh.
That's what flavor look like.
Of course, they don't look anything like me. I said, flavor meaning my color. She said, girl, no. She said, flavor like when you start speaking. He was drawing like word.
Yeah.
I like that, right? So
hold you in.
People that I don't know that they're in relationship with it. They're just like, did I submit anything? No. Contract come? Yeah. Are they buying my books too? Am I the closing? Yeah, professional.
But you know what? That's part of your personality, and also training people on how to put you out there for them, right? For yourself, so you don't have to do so much. They already know that. Look, when the opportunity comes up, who's the first person in their mind? Precious Williams.
Right, but that also comes from why this book was so important. You can write books on pitching all till you're blue in the face. And that's why I say in my first book, I didn't want to give like what do you call those, like formulas? Because formulas don't matter if it doesn't match the industry, right? So we have to do the psychology of pitching. Then we'll help you write the pitches. With this third book, when you have some measure of success, does your network know how to pitch you? They know how. I'm gonna tell you, most people's networks doesn't.
They don't.
Oh, well, she's a graphic designer. How many of us know graphic designers? Oh, well, she's a book coach. How many of us know book coaches? People who swear up and down they can get you to #1 bestseller and everything like that. Okay, but does your target market, do they know that? So my job is to show you step by step to get other people to pitch you so well that there's never another second person that they're recommending. It's you. Right. And so why am I the killer pitch master? Is to help you slay all competition. I don't have to do the work anymore to get my name out as a professional speaker, international professional speaker, and a corporate trainer, because the work, people are already doing that. In fact, last year I spoke at International Women's Day in Halifax, Nova Scotia. We're not going to address the issue that I thought Nova Scotia was in Europe. That's okay.
But that's okay. We learning.
Now, mind you, the year before I already spoke in Halifax, Nova Scotia at St. Mary's University. I was brought in to speak on pitching. I wasn't the keynote speaker, right? And I remember when they came to me, they were like, I want you to break out. And I wanted to be like, I ain't no breakout speaker. But then I was like, you know what? It's in another country. They pay it. You know what?
I'll do.
So I get there and I'm watching the keynote speaker. And, he doing his thug thizzle. And I said, yes, about that time. So I asked the question, let them all quiet. Went to my breakout session. Do you know what standing room only in my breakout session? The other speakers they were like,
everybody started coming over there.
And now, mind you, I'm still Black on both sides. I was the only person of color. And so I think the keynote speaker was just like, whoa. I said, yeah, I don't play no games in these streets. I don't get on stage unless I'm the best. I won't. So at the end of the day, with pitching for profit and everything like that, I want you to learn the steps to true profiting, not revenue. Profiting. You got people who will put your names out there, nominate you for awards you didn't even know of, put you out there in events where there are no photos. Get you those type of money you can't put on social media because everybody and their mama be on you like,
exactly.
So paid in 6 months, you be like,
they trying to get their come up, right?
And you want to be like, are there governmental programs? Like, I'm not your subsidy. I'm not, or what? And also remembering, Queen, if I can just say, in our darkest hours, do you ever have these moments where you feel really alone? Like, I have to have extensive dental work, and I'm still having it. And I started noticing the people who contacted me when I had surgery. And I had to cry sometimes because I realized I really am loved. And so even if people aren't calling all the time, there's food in my refrigerator that companies have sent to help me heal. There's my clients that have sent things. When I was in Vermont, I came back and I felt like it was Pastor said, it's Christmas. You got packages from so many people. And so, this morning I woke up and I was kind of feeling a certain type of way, right? And I think this is something that isn't often talked about. Is sometimes it is lonely as you're scaling and when you start scaling, building.
Yes, it is. It is.
It's not because you don't have friends. It's just there's certain things that are hard to discuss.
Because they don't see what you see as you see it. It's lonely. It's because it's a business. It's lonely growing a business. And as a woman, a Black woman, it's even lonelier because there's very few of us that actually network together and then we get that support from. And then we're still kind of timid as to how much information we give them. Is this going to turn into competition? Are they still going to be my friend? Are they going to steal my ideas? So you got all of that going on in your head.
And it's a lot. And then you have people who look at what you do on social media and assume that your life is perfect. Like I was just talking to a friend of mine. He was like, "Oh, I see you popping on social media." I said, "Well, why don't you call me though?" Because social media is a snapshot in time, babe. It doesn't tell you that. I could have just stubbed my toe. I might be having a lonely, tender moment. Says I'm real. Social media is a post. Right. And so, I've had these uncomfortable conversations with my friends, like, when I had surgery, why didn't you call? Don't let social media fool you in the way of real interaction. Yeah. Call, like, when I was in Vermont and just to have Hunter send me this meant he listened to that conversation. Have me and Hunter talked on the phone? No, I just got this in the mail yesterday. So I went outside this one and took pictures and I'm going to send it to him via email. I'm going to put it on social media because this is friendship. So tell me about that Old Spice. What does that represent? Okay, so my granddaddy,
And my daddy.
Woodrow, yeah, my granddaddy. When I was growing up, he smelled like Irish Spring and Old Spice. And when I
That
was
was your granddaddy? You sure your
my
granddaddy wasn't my daddy?
girl, I don't
They
even
smelled
know.
the same way.
But when I was 8 or 9 years old, I'll never forget. And this is what I was telling him. I said, I went to smell his Old Spice, and before I knew it, I
You
dumped
had it
all his
all.
Old Spice on me. Now, in some black households, if you get a whooping. My
You had the
granddaddy
whole
had this.
place stinking up.
So I know the first thing in his mind is, who would do this? And he can smell it all over the house, right? The house ain't that big, right? And then he finds me. He's like,
A girl.
Queepy. And he's like, what you do with my Old Spice? I put a little on. You put it all on.
A little.
Precious Latanya Williams. Dang, you have to call the full government name, right? But I remember that he had this look on his face like, this chick loved me so much that she wants to smell like me.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him turn away. And even though I'm 42,
Mm-hmm.
I saw it. And when I went to go live with my grandparents when I was 15 years old, I didn't put it on anymore, but I smelled it every day.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way he smelled. And my grandmother, she smelled like Dove soap. She smelled like white diamonds.
That's right. My
And
grandmother
so,
too. They love that white diamond.
girl, that white diamond, Elizabeth Taylor, you know how with the white
I don't know
diamond.
what that white diamonds did in the black
Girl,
household, but honey, Liz Taylor had them
what,
everybody in that white diamonds.
the ice just keeps them freezing, right? And so when I was in the Bowery Mission, right, there was a woman. There was a woman who came in and she had these white diamonds, the white diamond perfume. I ain't seen white diamonds in so long. I didn't know it existed anymore. Well, somehow I think she left the program, but she left the white diamonds behind.
Mm-hmm. You'd have snatched it up to take a whiff.
Girl, I thought I was 8 years old again.
Oh, goodness.
So yes, and so when people who only meet you 2 or 3 times in a span of a week,
Mm-hmm.
think highly enough of you to send this.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you need a diverse network, I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So even if you only deal with people of color, make sure that they're from different socioeconomic strata. Make sure that they've had different life experiences. Make sure you're not around yes people. That's the worst kind of people you're
Oh
around.
gosh,
They're like,
yes.
oh, everything you do is popping. You like,
Yeah.
hey,
No,
Casey.
come to my household. I got a whole bunch of people that tell me no, not doing that. That's crazy.
Girl,
Look,
I gotta
take that post down. Mommy, take that down. My son, take it down. You can't do that.
I have a friend named Precious, right? Precious is graduated from Columbia University. Her name is Precious. I mean, I feel like we should have a show, Precious and Precious Show, for just ridiculous reasons, because she's ridiculous, just like me.
Precious Square too.
And so she's younger, and she's very, like, she plans things out. Now, I'm going hard. Listen, I'm bam bam. You say it can't be done, I'm about to go do this right now. Let's go do it. And so can you imagine that combination? So my friend, every time she sees me, she said, Precious, you're so cute. She said, but if I see you with all these bags, she's like, girl, she's like, you have on nice, these aren't flip-flops, but they're these nice little shoes. She said, it's open toe, and it's April, Precious, I'm gonna need you to understand. She's like, Precious, you know what? I just gotta, and I said, at some point, you just gotta accept me, Queen. I have to accept that you plan things out. You gotta understand that I'm not there.
Yeah.
But I love when she goes in on me. I love it. I secretly love it. I still want her to know it. I love it. I love hearing her talk. I like her like Rihanna. Talk that talk. I'm with it.
Everybody needs those type of people in their lives.
Yeah.
They really do. So as we get ready to close out, one more time, give us a rundown of everywhere that people can find you, as well as tell them about the new book release that you got coming out. Yeah, everywhere.
You know, my granddad would say, not right now, R-A-H-T.
right now.
I'm with it, R-A-H-T.
Right now.
So everyone, again, I'm Precious Williams. I'm the proud founder and CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious, the art and science of the most killer elevator pitches, media pitches, investor pitches, speaker pitches, interview pitches, and sales pitches. My website is www.precious perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. You can go on my website and you can get my newest book, Pitching for Profit, the Bad Bitches Playbook to Convert Conversations into Currency. You can also get my other book, Bad Bitches and Power Pitches, for women entrepreneurs and speakers only. Oh, and by the way, my first and third book were reviewed by Forbes magazine. My billboard in Times Square goes up May 24th. Also, you can go on my website, go to the Work With Me tab, and you'll see I offer one-on-one coaching and training. I also group coaching and training. I also have digital products, online products you can learn at your own pace. You can also check out my events calendar and see all where I speak, the ones I'm allowed to talk about, the ones I'm that there.
The public events.
Right. You can also check me out at on LinkedIn. I'm Precious L. Williams, Killer Pitch Master. And on Twitter, I'm at Perfect Pitch P. On Facebook, I'm at Perfect Pitch P. And on Instagram, I'm at Perfect Pitches P. On YouTube, my page is Perfect Pitches by Precious. On LinkedIn, every Sunday, I have the Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster show. Also, for some of you who are interested in learning a little, doing a little deeper dive on me, on May 22nd, I'm having a live and virtual event. It's happening. It's called True Tea Time with Precious. And so from 1 to 4 on May 22nd, you're going to learn more about me. You're going to meet my network. So people always wonder who's really around me. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's a virtual and a live event. You get to see my new merchandise line. And we're going to be talking more about my new upcoming summit. It's called Pitch Please, the Ultimate Women's Power.
I love it.
And when I tell you, you do not want to miss this in September, because not only will there be a pitch competitions, there's going to be other competitions there. So definitely come out and get your tickets. You can go, I think it's actually on my website, True Tea Time, or go to Eventbrite and put in True Tea. Go to Eventbrite, just put in Tea Time with Precious and get your tickets, whether it's live or virtual. I promise you're going to hear some things you don't usually hear when I'm on different shows and stuff like that. It's True Tea Time. So I'm going to give you that. What? True Tea.
Good. I love it. I love it, Precious. Queen Precious, I love it. I love it. This has been fabulous. You have given a lot of information. I hope you have inspired some people that have been watching to get out of their little slumps and get ready to pitch for their businesses, for whatever it is they need to pitch for. Because like you said, every day is really a pitch. You're really coming out every day trying to sell yourself in some way to somebody to get something. So yeah. So I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing and being here with me today. Love you, love you, love you. So welcoming. I love having you here. It was just great. Thank you. Thank you, Queen. I tried to give you like a queen background here that I'm sitting in right now.
I was feeling it because you're getting that real background here.
Next time, you know what I was missing? I should have had my crown on for you.
Girl, don't let me show you what my client Tina. Tina got me with a rose gold crown. Listen, that ice just keeps them freezing.
Well, you have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day. You take care. We will definitely be in touch again.
All right.
I got some stuff that I need you, and you got some stuff I'm gonna need from you, and we're gonna work together. We're gonna do some stuff. Absolutely. You have a blessed day. Great day.